The story of Silent Zone begins in 2012, when a viral pandemic spreads across the world and collapses human civilization. Instead of killing its victims, the virus turns people into violent, animal-like creatures known as ferals. These ferals hunt in packs, move quickly, and show signs of intelligence, making them far more dangerous than ordinary infected humans. We are introduced to a young girl named Abigail, who lives with her mother and brother. Their family is preparing to evacuate and reunite with Abigail's father, who is currently abroad. Just as they are about to leave, a feral attacks their home. In the chaos, Abigail's mother and brother are bitten. The infection spreads rapidly, and they soon lose their humanity, turning into ferals themselves. Abigail is nearly killed, but she is saved at the last moment by Cassius, a police officer. Cassius manages to escape with Abigail, but the girl loses her entire family in a single night. With civilization collapsing and no safe place left to return to, Cassius decides to take responsibility for Abigail. He adopts her and retreats into the wilderness, far away from cities and roads. For the next 10 years, Cassius and Abigail survive in isolation. They hunt animals, forage for food, and constantly move their camp to avoid being discovered by feral packs. Cassius becomes hardened and emotionally distant after years of violence and loss. Abigail, however, grows into a capable survivor while still holding on to compassion and hope for other people. When Abigail is older, Cassius reveals his plan to escape permanently. He wants to travel to an isolated island off the American East Coast, a place he believes will be safe from both ferals and hostile survivors. Before they can leave, a large pack of ferals begins closing in on their location, forcing them to move immediately. During their escape, they encounter a group of armed survivors on the road. Before trust can be established, the ferals attack. A violent fight breaks out, killing most of the group. Abigail and Cassius manage to escape along with a heavily pregnant woman named Megan and her husband David. During the battle, Cassius kills the mate of the pack's alpha, unknowingly drawing the alpha's attention and fury toward them. Their vehicle is damaged beyond repair, so they take shelter in an abandoned city for the night. Abigail reveals that her father once kept a private turboprop plane at a nearby airport. Megan and David explain that they were traveling to a floating settlement known as Kings Harbor, a boat colony in the northeast that still communicates by radio. Abigail wants to join them, believing that living among others offers hope. Cassius refuses, having grown bitter and distrustful after watching so many people die or turn into ferals. The next morning, the feral pack finds them again. They rush to the airport and manage to take off in the plane just before the ferals reach them. For a brief moment, it seems like they've escaped. However, shortly after takeoff, the plane's engine fails, and it crashes. With his original plan destroyed, Cassius finally agrees to head toward Kings Harbor, which is much closer. As they continue traveling, Cassius discovers that David was bitten during the earlier attack and hid the wound. Instead of killing him immediately, Cassius keeps him alive to avoid upsetting Megan and Abigail. As night falls, the group finds shelter in a forest hut owned by an engineer named Norton. At first, Norton appears friendly and offers them food and drinks. During their conversation, he reveals his disturbing belief that the pandemic is nature's way of cleansing humanity, allowing only the strongest to survive. Soon after, the group loses consciousness, having been drugged by Norton. David's infection reaches its final stage, but Norton does not kill him. Instead, he uses a sonic gauntlet he invented to control ferals. Norton imprisons the group and releases his feral wife on them as an experiment. David manages to resist long enough to fight her off and free the others. They escape in Norton's Land Rover, leaving the engineer behind. The stress causes Megan to go into labor. Their escape is blocked, forcing them to continue on foot. Knowing he will not survive much longer, David stays behind to delay the pursuing ferals. He is killed by the alpha, but his sacrifice allows the others to escape. Abigail, Cassius, and Megan finally reach Kings Harbor, a floating colony made from cargo ships clustered around an unfinished dam project. Megan gives birth to a baby girl, but dies from the strain shortly afterward. Cassius promises to protect the child as his own. While staying in the colony, Abigail befriends a local boy named Roderick, who shows her the explosives and an escape tunnel designed to destroy the colony if ferals ever board it. His explanation later becomes crucial. Norton eventually tracks them down and brings the ferals to King's Harbor. He unleashes them on the unsuspecting colonists, causing panic and destruction. Abigail and Cassius help coordinate an evacuation while ferals swarm the ships. Norton corners Cassius and gloats over him, believing himself protected by his sonic gauntlet. Cassius smashes the device, leaving Norton defenseless. The ferals immediately tear him apart. During the escape, Abigail comes face to face with the Alpha and realizes the horrifying truth: the Alpha is her father. Although part of him recognizes her, the feral instincts take over. Abigail and Cassius flee through the escape tunnel as Roderick detonates the explosives, destroying King's Harbor and killing many of the ferals on board. The Alpha survives and attacks one final time, overpowering Cassius. Abigail hesitates, struggling with the truth, but ultimately accepts reality and kills her father, ending the pursuit once and for all. With King's Harbor destroyed, Abigail and Cassius gather the remaining survivors and resume their original plan to reach the island refuge. The world remains broken, but hope continues through chosen family, sacrifice, and the will to survive.